He's Jeff King. I'm Andy Erickson. This is not another shooting show. We go to Hampton, Virginia, where a man who police say accidentally shot himself near a Hampton school Thursday is now facing charges. Police say they were called to John Smith Elementary School just after 2 p.m. for a self-inflicted gunshot wound in the back parking lot of the school. The school did go on lockdown briefly, but police say there was never a threat to the school. Police have they have not identified the man. They say he is charged with possession of a firearm on school property, discharge of a firearm within 1,000 feet of a school, and reckless handling of a firearm. Your favorite thing, Jeff, handling guns inside a car.
Yep. That crotch shot. You just got to take the crotch shot.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Speaking of, now, normally these stories, I'm just going to read this headline because the details are pretty much what you think. Or not exactly what you think, but headline from MSN: hapless fisherman dies after accidentally shooting himself in the face with a harpoon.
Ooh.
Right? I saw that and I'm like, damn. The guy was hunting for fish for lunch at a pond in Thailand. This happened on Thursday. He fired his harpoon into the water, but it was said to have bounced off a rock and ricocheted towards his head, pierced his skull, and he fell face down into the pond.
Jesus.
Yeah. 7-foot spear gun. That's one way to go.
Yeah.
I mean, unlike most of the accidental shootings we talk about that are not really accidental, they're more negligent. This actually seems accidental, like shooting into water, thinking it's a fish. It's not a fish. It's a rock. Ping. Like, weird. I've never shot a spear gun. Have you?
No, I haven't yet.
No, I don't know that I ever will. Not one of those things I've ever thought to do.
It's one of those I've used them in video games many times.
Oh,
I
yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
But I've never had the opportunity to even hold one that I'm aware of. Like I feel like it's something I would do, even because can you fire them above water?
I would think they would work quite well above water.
Okay, I don't know
if they work in water.
Yeah, so I don't know. I haven't dealt with one, but I think it would be fun. I just won't shoot any rocks.
I've had people who go bow fishing, or I know people who go bow fishing.
Yep,
that's a thing that people do. Anyway, all right. So now joining us on the show, a guest from definitely from the southeast portion of the country. When you hear his voice, Andrew Keith is joining us to talk about the southeast. Oh, I had it on my screen and then I lost it. Damn it. This is I had tried to message you back and then I lost what it was. What's the name of the match, Andrew?
The Southeastern Law Enforcement Handgun Classic.
And
it's a mouthful.
It's a little bit. It's not that bad. So this is a match that is for law enforcement only, right?
No.
Okay, cool.
It is, so, man, it honestly, like, it is a kind of a broad or more in-depth thing. It's an idea that stems to get law enforcement officers exposed to USPSA and basically trick them into training. Now, in order to do that, we also need individuals like yourselves that support law enforcement. We want to give you something as well for coming out, shooting the match with us, having a good time, community interaction, all the good things. And in order to do that, we are going to have 4 divisions, 2 law enforcement divisions, and 2 civilian divisions, or not a cop divisions is what we've been kind of talking amongst ourselves about.
So how are those divisions work? Like what will they be?
Okay, so, and this is the part that has gotten some kind of rub from certain individuals, but so There are two law enforcement divisions that are irons and optics. That is it. Law enforcement, you have active or retired credentials, and you either choose to shoot an iron sighted gun or an optics gun. Civilians, same way. You want to shoot an iron sighted gun, cool. There's a division for that. You want to shoot an optic gun, there's a division for that. All magazines will be limited, regardless of length, to 15 rounds. The spirit behind this is, and I get it, you guys are USPSA guys. I'm kind of a USPSA guy myself, but there are, there's some departments that are still carrying 40s, and
Right.
so their magazines are limited to 15 rounds. The spirit of the match is designed so that cops can no longer say, well, I don't want to buy one of these fancy race guns and all this sort of thing. That they can literally bring the gun they are issued, whether it has iron sights on top of it or a dot, the magazines they are issued, and they can run it. That's kind of the spirit of the match.
Is there an equipment requirement?
So for the law enforcement division, yes, there will be somewhat of a requirement, as in you must shoot from an active retention holster. Now, this can be the ALS system from Safariland that's just the button. This can be the button in the hood, anything like that. Just something more than just your basic Kydex holster that retains off the trigger guard, right? Like it has to be some sort of holster that is quote unquote duty,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Now civilians can run whatever. They can run whatever. They're in their own divisions. Cool. If you want to borrow your cop buddy's Safariland holster and run it, we encourage you to do so. That way both groups can kind of understand the challenges that each other's face. Cops can understand like, wow, I need to be going faster. It is possible to get alphas at a much quicker pace. And also, civilians can understand like, man, drawing from this thing with an ALS button and a hood on it kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's tough to scoop those. It really is.
Yeah, just a little bit. Do you? Is the scoring going to be major power factor, or is it going to be all minor power factor?
The scoring is going to be all minor,
Okay.
just because most departments carry 9s, some carry 40s. Not a whole lot of departments carry 45. So, we're trying to hit this target audience, and we understand that there are outliers, but one of those you can't please everybody kind of things.
That makes sense.
So, Andrew, what is your you're in law enforcement? What is your career path been to this point? Are you what is your job right now?
My job right now, well, my job has always been patrol. I've been patrol since the day I started. We have a part-time SWAT team. I was on it for 10 years. I've handled a K9. I've been on our search and rescue team. I'm trying to think of all the, I've done the bicycle thing. I recently put in for the mounted patrol. So the next time you talk to me, I may have a horse companion.
Oh, right on.
Can that be part of a stage? That'd be so cool.
Yeah. You're a cop in Central Park, New York, and blah blah blah.
Must shoot target from full gallop.
Exactly. From full canter, yes. You have to gun down. But at first, you must, if you're a John Wayne fan, you must yell, "Fill your hands, you son of a bitch!"
Yes. And you must get a Winchester that you can do a full 360.
Absolutely. Flip. The big loop Winchester, buddy. If you can't circle it around, we don't need you here. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I've done that. At one point in time, I was a supervisor for about 6 years. I was a patrol sergeant. Then I actually left law enforcement for a year and went and worked for MBX Extreme.
Oh, cool.
Doing that. And because my buddy Adrian runs MBX, he was needing a general manager. I did that. Kind of couldn't get, the cop thing out of my system. So I came back, and in our department, it's large enough where you can't just step back in at a supervisory rank. So that's kind of where I've been for the past 3 to 4 years. So now I'm still humping calls on the street. It's just the way it is.
I know a handful of people that are in law enforcement, and I've known a couple who have done the not so much the management thing, but went the detective route. And then after a
Mhm.
while, they're like, I want to be back on patrol again. And it's like, is it kind of the same for you? Like, you just don't want to do anything other than that?
Well, I mean, a lot of it is so every department is very different. So even inside of states, right? States, so federal has certain requirements just to be a cop, things like you got to be 21 years old to carry a gun. So they're very broad. It narrows down when you get to the states, and then it narrows down even further when you get to the individual agencies. So, like with NYPD, for example, becoming a detective is a promotion. Where in my department, becoming a detective is just another job. Like
Oh,
you're a yeah, like you're a patrol officer. Maybe there's a posting where they need a couple of investigators for, property crimes. You can literally just put in for that and come over. Now, if they need a sergeant over the property crimes division, well, then you have to have already promoted as a sergeant to move to that position. Does that make sense?
yep,
Yep.
yep, yep, yep.
Where like NYPD, if you become a detective, that in and of itself is a promotion. So it all depends on how the departments are structured and how they kind of operate. Not everything is equal. But me personally, our detectives have to wear a long sleeve shirt and tie to work every day. And just the thought of that
Uh,
just just completely turns me off. So
yeah.
so I'm not a guy who wants to wear a necktie to work every day. So that's just not
Right.
me.
So one question I had, what got you into USPSA? Because what? Okay, so let me restart. So what got you into USPSA, and where are you at in your USPSA journey?
So man, been a little bit, but so when I first came on, we go kind of, I guess, to sum it all up, I was a big fish in a small pond and I wanted to see how deep the water got, kind of thing. So just my natural nature was to, hey, let's see how far I can go with this thing. But I came on in 2007 and I got Top Gun in my academy class. First of all, I was in the Marine Corps for 4 years. Then I get out, I become a cop. I go, I'd always shot expert with a rifle in the Marine Corps. And then I come into law enforcement, I get Top Gun in my academy class. And I'm like, okay, cool. A couple of years later, I put in for our firearms instructor because, I thought I could shoot. Well, with that came a requirement. You had to come in basically your first day. You had to shoot 95% or better on the qual. You had one chance to redo it if you didn't do it, and then you were gone. Like somebody in my academy class or in my firearms instructor class, like they had to just go back to their job. Like they couldn't shoot the requirement, and so they were gone. And then, after that I did that. Then I tried out for our SWAT team. On that, you had to do a bunch of other physical stuff, and then you had to shoot 95%, I believe, again, or better. And that's when they like are yelling at you and counting your rounds and all that stuff. So I did that. Basically, I had met all the shooting requirements that the department had to offer. And so I thought, okay, this is cool. I like shooting. According to these guys, I'm pretty good at it. And somebody had mentioned, I think it was our head firearms guy at the time. He was a older guy. He was getting ready to retire, but he had mentioned something about competitive shooting. And actually, fun fact, Mike Seeklander used to work for my department.
Oh,
Oh, cool.
interesting.
Yeah, so I kind of knew who Mike was. I'd Googled him or whatever. And so I was like, well, this sounds cool, like competitive shooting. I like shooting, whatever. So I'm going to figure out where around here does it. Well, like 20 minutes away is a range and they host a monthly match. So I go out there the first time just to watch, just to see like what is this all about. Well, the environment was very different. So when you go into like law enforcement, there's a certain degree of tape measuring, for lack of a better term,
You mean
that
measuring
goes on.
cocks? Is that what you're talking about? Seeing whose cock's
Yeah,
bigger?
yeah, pretty much. So,
We talk that way on
you
the show.
know,
You say whatever you want.
okay,
Yeah.
cool. Now that I know it's weapons free.
Yeah.
So,
No, light them up.
so there's like a certain amount of dick measuring that goes on, and whether it's overt or covert, right? So people may be kind of just looking at you judgy, or they may be trying to give you shit, whatever. But I go out there and I'm just observing. Like I'm literally there. I have no gun on me or anything. I'm just walking around, my hands in my pockets, looking at this. And I was honestly like, this is a very big pat on the back to USPSA. The community, I probably had no shit 4 to 5 people. At this time, PCC was becoming a thing, right? This is,
Hmm.
I think PCC was about in maybe its second year. And so a bunch of people were shooting PCC. And so a lot of mostly PCC guys, because they had extra guns in their car, were like, hey, man, I've got my rig in my car. You want to borrow it? You're going to want to shoot this. Like you're going to want to do this. Like, I've got my whole pistol set up in my truck. Like, bro, I will go get it for you right now. And I'm like, being polite. I'm like, no, no, no. Let me just see what this is about. And so I go out there, and the environment was just so different. Like, nobody, and it's the same way I tell people now, it's like, nobody gives a shit how you shoot.
Yeah.
They care how
100%.
they shoot.
Yep.
Yeah, man. It's like nobody cared. And I was like, well, this is cool, like that was just one of those things. And then the very next month I signed up, and I came out there, and to be honest with you, just being a bigger fish in a very small pond, I was just like, well, how bad could it be? Like I got it. I wasn't like I'm not a super egotistical person in my own mind of like, okay, well, I'm gonna go out here and just wreck these people. I was like, okay, well, it's a game. I don't understand the rules per se yet.
Hmm.
So I'm not gonna do, it's like I'm not gonna walk off home run this. But at the same time, like, I'm not gonna do too bad either. Like I can shoot. No, I went out there, dude. I got absolutely wrecked. Wrecked.
like we all do.
Yeah. But did you
Yeah,
did
dude.
you come in dead last, or are you like 2-3 from the bottom? Because I was like fourth from the bottom, I think, my very first match.
Well, I think our normal club match has between on a very cold or rainy month, we probably have 70 to
Oh,
75 people.
you got a big club. Okay.
Yeah, on a bright, sunny, good day, they have probably a little over 100, and I came in like
Damn.
I want to say it was like 60 something.
Not terrible.
No, that's for very
Like
first time.
it was
Yeah.
pretty bad.
I'm looking.
Oh,
mine
60th
right
out
now.
of like, was it cold or was it hot? Because that makes a big difference. We want to know how we would need to measure our dicks here for a second, Andrew.
Uh, I want to say that month, I cannot be exact. I would have to dig through my practice score, but I want to say there's probably like maybe 80 to 90 people. Like it
Okay.
wasn't full, but it wasn't one of those where people woke up and heard rain hitting the ground and were like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not shooting.
Yeah.
Like it was somewhere, like it was definitely at minimum, the bottom third. I was
I
at the bottom third.
I think my first match was somewhere in the neighborhood of 40, 45. It was like a regular nice day, spring, and I remember I was fourth from the bottom. All I cared was I didn't come in last, because I'm that competitive. I can't be the worst out here, but as long as I'm
Yeah.
not the worst, I'm happy with that, and I succeeded.
I found my match on practice score. You can easily get back and find it. And I came in 49th out of. Somehow we had 96 people at a local match. I have no idea how that's happened because it's never happened again.
No,
Yeah, like our club's pretty good, man. Like it really is. I think I've been shooting competitively now for like maybe 7 years, and
Okay, so
so like
we're at the
y'all
same
know who it.
same time.
Y'all know some of the guys, right? Like Paul Kerr shoots at my local club sometimes. Um, Jason Edwards is another good GM. I think Jason's probably getting a little more out of it. He's getting a little older and getting kind of moving on to other things in life. Magnus Crone shoots at our club now.
Oh yeah, I know Magnus.
Yeah, like Paul's a national level guy, so it's like, as I got into this thing, it was more like I don't really care where I finish in the standings. Like, how did I finish in relation to Paul?
It
Because Paul's absolutely ridiculously good.
it's great when you have those super squad level guys at your club, so you can be like, "How did I finish?" Because at my club, it's Lane Grease and Cody Axon are the top dogs, and so you can always be like, "How'd you finish against Lane?" And you're like, "Well, I got like 60% of him." You're like, "Yeah, you're probably 60%. Like that's the number."
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You
the
get a
way
pretty
it
good
is with
idea.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
especially like I think Paul, man, Paul loves a single stack. So if you really want to try to see how you stack up with Paul, show up with a 1911 and see how it goes. It probably won't go well, but at least you'll kind of know. At least you'll kind of know where you stand.
when you were talking about, when you showed up, in law enforcement and there's all the dick measuring going on, and everybody's sizing each other up, and the way that I'd never thought of it that way, because every other sport I've ever played, I'm always like, all right, who's got the big cock here? Like I'm trying to size everybody else up, whether I was playing football or baseball, slow pitch softball, golf, which I was terrible at. But I was always looking around like, who's the big swinging dick here? You know? And I guess that was sort of my expectation shooting my first match. And when it wasn't that way, it was almost confusing. I didn't I didn't understand that. And like like we're Midwesterners here, upper Midwest, South Dakota. So, nobody's rude, but you know, w- people like to leave each other alone too. So, if you need help, I'll talk to you. But it wasn't like, "Oh, hey, how are you, sir? Thank you for coming." It wasn't like when you walk into a new church the first time and they're all trying to, get you to join. It was
Yeah,
but it was super friendly, super non-confrontational. It wasn't a bunch of, you could tell real quick who the studs were, and they did not care about, like you said, they don't care how you shoot as long as you're safe. No one remembers you if
you-
you're safe and shoot shitty, but they remember if you're unsafe.
yeah. It was like that. Like I don't know if y'all know Jason, but Jason at one point, I think Jason's probably a little older than me. I'm 44, so I think Jason's a couple years older than me. He's built like a polar bear. He's just Jason's, and I love Jason to death, man. He's just this big giant dude, and watching him shoot, you would be like, or not watching him shoot, but just seeing him, you'd be like, okay, you know, this guy can shoot, but he can't move, and all that sort of stuff, right? And then you actually watch him run a stage, and you're like, dude, this guy's fucking killing it. Like he's absolutely killing it. Like he's just burning shit down, shooting all alphas, shooting targets from, you know, as you start this thing, stage planning is a real skill. So, you might, as a newer shooter, program in this fourth shooting position where he's only shooting three. He's just taking the targets from a little farther away and he's blasting two alphas on it. And you're like, this guy's crushing me. Like as far as athleticism, when you look at him, you may or may not underestimate his athleticism, but he's got enough combined with his shooting ability. And it was like, dude, this guy's fucking smoking me. He's absolutely smoking me. So USPSA was a very different thing. You're used to the whole SWAT thing and cop thing where, the guy who works out a lot probably shoots okay and this and that. Where, you go to USPSA, you might see some scrawny little dude who works on computers 5 days a week and off on the weekends, and he comes out there and just burns it down. And you're like, holy shit, where did this guy come from?
So,
You know,
what you currently are a trainer for law enforcement, right?
yes, sir.
Okay. So, when it comes to getting cops to shoot practical shooting and getting them out of that sort of regimented institutional mode. Now you're a cop, so like if Jeff and I invite a cop out, they're like, no, that's nah, no. You're different. You can actually say, well, hey, I'm in your same shoes. What are the what what are the challenges you have to overcome to try to get somebody to come out and try it?
So I see what you're saying. Like from the outside looking in, cops are going to tell you no a lot easier than they're going to tell me no, just because I'm kind of infiltrating, for lack of a better term. Like
Yeah, you're a
I'm where
two-timing spy. Basically,
yeah,
you're a double
exactly.
agent.
Exactly, dude. Like I'm in their job. They can't say dumb shit like, well, the targets don't shoot back. Like I've done, you know, I'm not some like Delta Recon Ranger SEAL or any of that shit, and I don't claim to be, but I've done some tactical training in my life. I was on a SWAT team for 10 years. I kind of understand how to serve a search warrant, clear a house dynamically, and all that sort of shit. To a degree. I don't claim to be some CQB instructor or none of that, but you know, I've experienced a lot of tactical training, and never once did I go like, okay, whew, we're gonna go into our shoot house here. Man, I hope I don't get fucking shot by the target. Like bro, we're all shooting paper. Like
Yeah.
I mean, sure, like okay, I go out to USPSA and I'm wearing shorts and a Hawaiian shirt and my hat turned around backwards and I'm shooting a stage. Okay, well, I don't think those targets are gonna like plug me in the chest. And the same time, I go to our shoot house and I'm wearing my Team Wendy helmet and my friggin' body armor and plates in, and I'm carrying my quote battle belt or whatever, and I'm wearing my green uniform and all this stuff, and I'm about to enter the shoe house. Like on the same token, I'm not expecting those paper targets to like rip around back at me either. Like there's really no difference other than the attire I'm wearing at the time. And so the whole these targets don't shoot back is total bullshit. Like get over yourself. That's not what happens. In my mind, it's like the easiest way I've tried to sell it to people, especially other cops, is like, okay, man, take take the scenario out of it. I think cops a lot of times they shoot a drill and they try to impart, whether on their own or whether they're trainers, they're i.e., firearms instructors, and I use that term loosely, have placed a scenario on top of this thing. And they're trying to imagine the targets are a bad guy. I don't imagine the targets are a bad guy at all. There's no fable that goes along with what I'm doing. It is simply how fast can I do this thing? If you tell me the target requires 4 shots, okay, I'm going to do that as fast as possible. If it requires 2, okay, I'm going to do that as fast as possible. If we're doing, if we're using some sort of super high speed, low drag target system and they say, well, it'll fall when it's done, well, then I'm going to do that as fast as possible. It's not some you know, and I hate to use this term because I like the guys. Like, I think IDPA is a great place to start for cops, but at the same time, it's not some IDPA scenario like you're going down the river in your canoe trout fishing when suddenly
You're on a horse in
seven,
Central Park.
yeah, when suddenly 17 ISIS spring from the bushes. Like it's not that either. It's out of all the law enforcement training I've done, I've never thought I was going to die intentionally during any of it. And so I think a lot of times to bring these guys into that is like you have to quit imagining that these are targets. What you can do is look at body worn camera footage and say, what is this officer trying to do, albeit successfully or unsuccessfully? And can that actually be accomplished? Is this officer shooting quarter-second splits while he's running at a dead sprint, laterally to the target?
Right.
Okay, well, can that be done? Well, I don't know. Let's go out here to the range and try. Find somebody online, a Ben Steger or a Sean Griffith or one of these other pros. Can they do it? Because if they can do it, someone else can. They're not, genetic anomalies. They're just guys who are very skilled and very practiced. And so it's okay. Well, can we do that? well, maybe we can, maybe we can't, given budget and time constraints. But if one man can do it, another can do it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so it's like you just look at that and think like, okay, well, is this possible? Yes. Is this possible with what we have to work with? Well, sometimes that's yes or no. Honestly, I think cops from a duty holster, if you can run a 2.5 second bill drill, you're probably the best shooter in your police department.
Yeah. That's
Just
completely
simply doing
reasonable.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just simply doing that. And so it's like let's put standards that are difficult to, or not really difficult, that take some effort to get to, and then let's put some standards that are reasonable. Do I think everything in USPSA is reasonable to hold every police officer in the United States of America to? No.
Like
But
turn and
do I
draw.
think,
Like, you guys
yeah,
really need to work turn and draw a
like
lot more.
yeah, dude, like I'm not doing a surrender draw on duty, probably ever.
And your unloaded table starts need to get really top notch here.
Yeah, dude, like I'm not gonna dedicate an entire week on the range to unloaded table starts. Like
Right.
that's just
Hello.
unrealistic,
Hello, Mr. Bad Guy. Here, I will unload my pistol to make this fair. And on the beep, we're having fisticuffs.
Dude, if some dude did that to a suspect, like this suspect better be worrying. Like they better be like, wait a minute, this is not the fight I wanted to have. Like this guy's giving me what I perceive as a huge advantage. Like maybe this is not the guy I want to engage in a gunfight with. Like it's kind of like the old, okay, here's this revolver. I'll have a revolver. Let's put one round in it back to back. We take 10 paces and then we turn around. It's like, wait a second, if somebody's laying out these kind of rules, it's probably to their favor.
My Muay Thai coach always told me if a fight in a bar is about to happen and the dude smiles at you, walk away. That dude has accepted violence.
Yes, like this dude's ready to fight. It's not a posturing, it's like certain people give off certain things or certain cues where it's like, this is not the guy I want to fight with. Like the guy walks up to you with cauliflower ear and he's like, hey man, if you want to fight, we'll do it. It's like, maybe this isn't the guy.
Right. So I think I started following you because of Police Post. Were you involved with their training element?
Yeah, so Adam Hadari, I can never say Adam's last name. Love the guy. I've been friends with him for a long time, and we met through Instagram and all of this. And I run their police post dot shooting thing, and there's a lot of info on there geared for cops, because like your average cop can look at like Ben Steger's page, right? And I've trained with Ben. I know Ben. Some people love him, some people hate him, whatever. I like him. But, I'm kind of that guy. Like I would rather go to the range and you be like, hey, you suck at this, here's how you get better. And some people can't take that, So I get it. I understand. So a lot of the police post dot shooting stuff is very rudimentary. Like it kind of tries to give cops information from and meet them where they are and try to just get them to kind of like take this step, just try this thing, try to go here and see what happens. Because a lot of it with law enforcement is they preach, there's a lawyer attached to every round, you're responsible for every round you fire. And yes, you are, you can be sued for anything at any time in law enforcement. But they get so like sunk into that they can't ever let go of it, even in training, even in practice, even in anything. They just cannot let go of it. And you guys know as well as I do, man, if you want to try to get better, you got to let the shit come off the rails. Like you've got to go to the range and you just got to give it the old home run swing, see what happens, try to correct some things and try to move forward.
Right.
Yeah, if you're not screwing up, you're not getting better. It's not
Exactly.
Like the number of people when I'm teaching a permit class or a private lesson or something, and they fail at the drill we're doing, and they're like, "Oh, sorry." I'm like, "Why? I made it hard on purpose." Like that's the whole point of
Exactly.
this. If you showed up and just crushed everything I gave you to do, I'm first off, maybe you don't need me, and second, I'm doing a bad job because I'm not challenging you. So saying sorry is kind of dumb. Just okay, why did that happen? Don't say sorry I screwed it up. Ask yourself why did it happen? That's it.
Absolutely, man. So it's like when I work, so I'm a firearms instructor with the department as well. You know, part-time firearms instructor. I go out there during in service, and whenever we're having all that kind of stuff. But I also work with several officers, kind of coach several officers that have approached me and been like, "I want to get in this whole USPSA thing." I'm a master class guy in USPSA. I don't think I'm in danger of winning any kind of anything, but nonetheless, I've worked my way up to master class. So, I tell that's first thing, the very first thing we try to that the point I try to get across to them is, dude, when you come out here with me to work and to practice, there's going to be times where I tell you I don't give a shit where the bullets go. I don't care. Like, honestly, the target is more of a reference for me later to look at you shoot. I think this person is doing this or that wrong, and then I look at the target. It confirms what I think,
Yeah.
and then we adjust from there. It doesn't matter that they're all alphas because, like I tell them all the time, I can teach a monkey to shoot 5 alphas in an unlimited amount of time.
Right.
Like, here's a loaded magazine, shoot me 5 alphas. I don't care how long it takes you. It's like you can teach a monkey to do that. But it's like once we start pushing the pace though, there are things that are going to be exposed that we have to fix, but I have to get you to push the pace first. I have to get you to just let it go. And so like I tell them all the time, like, Elsa that shit, bro. Let it go. Because
I'm using that
I've got
term.
Elsa that
yeah, dude.
shit.
I've got a little girl. She's gotten kind of older now and out of the whole Elsa thing. But there for a while, she was hung up on Elsa. So, I've seen Frozen probably 10,000 times.
Me too.
So it's like
Me too.
dude, Elsa, that shit. Just let it go. Just bang the trigger. Let's bang it as fast as we can. Let's see what happens, and let's figure it out from there. Like we'll figure it out together. I promise you.
Do you
And so
find
once they do that, it's sky's the limit. Once you can get them to do that.
do you find people when they're struggling to just, especially somebody's new, like a newer officer or something, and they haven't shot much before, and they're just trying to shoot, I'm just trying to hit center of target, slow fire. And then as soon as you make them go fast, they get out of their head and they start doing everything better.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I feel like it's a conflict because as law enforcement across the nation, we are not like I think anybody can be a successful shooter if they have the right information, right? If you have the right information and you are willing to do the work that you are given, you will be successful. If you're given the wrong information, there's no way to outwork that, right? So
Yeah.
If you wanted to be Usain Bolt in a 100-meter sprint, and I told you to go run backwards as fast as you possibly could, you're never going to even get close to Usain Bolt's times by running forwards if all you've ever done is run backwards, right? So if you're given the wrong information, then you could go practice every day. It doesn't matter. You're operating off the wrong info.
Well, and kind of what I was getting at was people that, and this isn't everybody, but I run into it a lot where people are just so in their own head about doing things correctly that they overthink it. And then as soon as I take away the ability to think, and it's like Crash Davis and Bull Durham, like don't think, it'll only hurt the ball club. And they're just
Yeah.
we're just shooting doubles or we're doing practical accuracy. It's like now, now, now. Then all of a sudden they're not yanking low left as bad. They're not doing other dumb things. because they don't have time to think about all the things. They're just like, I'm gripping the gun hard and I'm pressing the trigger. And things tend to get better after that when they stop thinking about it, was kind of what I was getting at. I was just wondering if you had noticed the same thing too, but
Yeah. I think at certain points, yes, overthinking it is absolutely detrimental. Reacting to what you see and things like that, if a shooter is at that level with their fundamentals, then absolutely. Like I was at that level at one point in time where I was just overthinking everything and I was over confirming and everything was just way too caught up in my mind. And once I could learn to kind of let that go and just react to what I'm seeing, then sure, yeah, there is a point to that. And a lot of it is, when law enforcement officers have been told 100 times by red shirt instructors that aren't very good at shooting to slow down and get their hits and all that other dumb shit, then they think slowing down is the way. So when you tell them like, hey, I want you to do this or that task on this or that target, they think, well, if I go slow enough, then it'll all work out for me.
I'll just get real slow and then I'll be
Exactly.
really good.
And then they start to realize, well, you can also miss slow, and then their entire world falls apart because you know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
it's like
Yep.
if you grew up and your parents told you this one thing will save you, slowing down on whatever you're doing will always make it better, and then when you slow down, you completely fuck it up, then you have nowhere to go from there because you
Yep.
were always told this magic pill will fix it, and then when you miss slow, or you whack one low left even though it's slow, you have nowhere to go from there. You're like, I've been disillusioned, my entire world has just fell apart, I have no idea what to do now. And so that's the hardest thing, is that's where I go back to, they were given the wrong information and now they're never going to be able to succeed. Because I remember coming through it, I made B class. I made B class in USPSA, and I just made master in IDPA. Then I moved over to kind of USPSA and started dabbling in it, made B class, and I was by far the best shooter in my police department.
Yep.
And that's not like
Yeah.
that's not an egotistical thing, for those out there in listener land. Like, I'm not saying that as like patting myself on the back. I'm saying it more as that's the skill level of the entire 400-man police department that I work for. That's where the
Yep.
skill level lied, is you could be a B class USPSA shooter and basically walk off home run in service, anything they ever ask you to do.
Yeah.
Yep. I always say that a B class shooter is a god among shooters until you go to a USPSA match, and your experience is the exact same as the Omaha Police Department. The top guy on the Omaha Police Department is a B class limited shooter, or now he's a carry optic shooter, but he is their top shooter on the department, and ours is much larger than yours.
Yeah, man. And it's like, I got a friend of mine works for, God, it's Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they're twice the size of us, and it's about the same there as well. It's I I don't expect. I try to keep my expectations realistic, right? Like, do I think every police officer in America should be a master class or grandmaster USPSA shooter? No,
Oh,
I
no.
don't.
Absolutely
I
not.
don't think. Yeah, I don't think for what the public pays in taxes, they can expect that. I think that's unrealistic.
B class would be fantastic. Like, hell, upper C class
Absolutely.
is adequate, I would think.
But high C, low B, I think is very doable
Yeah.
with the current budgetary constraints of time and ammo. Like, I don't think that's impossible at all. I think it takes the right information and the right amount of practice. And I just don't think, I think it's more of an ignorance problem than anything, because I was completely ignorant until I went to USPSA and IDPA. I was ignorant to what good shooting was.
Yeah. Do you think
Like, I just didn't
that
know.
that's a good question. Do you think law enforcement in general needs, I mean, you kind of said it already, but is there any need to be better than like low, mid, B class that you could think of in the profession anywhere?
Man, honestly, not really. Like if you can go from, it's one of those things where it's a double-edged sword, right? So if you only spend your time in law enforcement, then you think something like a 2-second bill drill is this absurd level of skill. You're like, holy shit, only 5 guys in the world can do that, even though like most USPSA shooters, when you're especially B class and above, can do that. But you think that because you're in this small pond. But then as well, it's like reconciling the two camps, because if you go over here to USPSA and you're an M or GM, you think, or some people think like, well, a B class shooter sucks. They're just B class. But it's like, no, a B class is kind of like, and, Jeff, you can attest to this. It's like, I'm a black belt in jujitsu.
Yep.
That doesn't mean a whole lot, right? It's like, I mean, it means something, but I'm not Gordon Ryan either.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
there's a
Right.
difference in a dude that has a black belt and a dude that's winning ADCC worlds. Like these are two different black belts.
Right. But at the same time, the average dude you deal with,
You're going to turn me into a pretzel.
with no problem.
Yeah.
And that's where kind of the conversation breaks down for some people, is like, and they're like, oh man, they need to be the highest level possible. And you're like, you don't. Like a blue belt in jujitsu will feel like you are grappling the most perfect grapple you've ever grappled until you grapple a black belt, and you're like, everything hurts, and I don't know what to do right now, and I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, a good 3 to 4 stripe blue belt can handle most people on the planet.
Yep.
Like most people. If you see a dude with cauliflower ear, you should probably be a little cautious. But for most bad guys that smoke cigarettes and don't do shit but commit crime all day, like you're probably going to be fine as long as dude doesn't produce a weapon,
Yep.
And the same thing with police work is, most citizens understand that, and I'll preface this with like, there are assholes in police work, just like there's asshole barbers, there's asshole lawyers, and all of that sort of stuff. Like there are people who don't need to be doing this profession, and they come out from time to time, and with body worn camera and dash cameras and things like that, we see them more often than departments can just get rid of them without anybody seeing, kind of thing. And so, it's like, don't judge the whole bushel of apples based on one rotten one, kind of thing. But
Yep.
they do exist. They get filtered out. None of us like an asshole cop any more than civilians do, because they give us a bad name. Because every time something happens that we don't agree with, like, some officer in South Dakota does something crazy, well, me being in Tennessee, like now I have to bear the brunt of how this guy acted.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So like I have to deal with that. And it would be great if every officer had a Juris Doctorate of Law, a black belt in jiu-jitsu, was a grandmaster in USPSA. But at the same time,
But their
the
income is
public,
$45,000 a year.
Yeah.
exactly, the public has to realize that to a degree they're getting what they pay for. And so, it becomes a thing of like, am I meeting your expectations, and are your expectations realistic? Like to me, I've always thought about, especially when it comes to shooting, like the whole fighting thing was always just to basically keep myself alive so I can come home to my kid. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a desire to hurt anyone. I will if I have to. Like I would rather wrestle you down and you give up than me to have to carry that further. I don't desire to punch you in the face 100 times. I would much rather like never take my hands out of my jacket pocket when it's cold and be able to say, "Hey, dude, just turn around, put your hands behind your back. Let me click these on you. Let's go take care of this warrant you got and all that." Like that's my ideal outcome. Never to have to do the extra paperwork of trying to crack the sidewalk with you and putting the fucking handcuffs on. Like I don't want that. There's no part of me that wants that. I
So
just will if I have to, and I've spent the time acquiring a set of skills that with most folks that are untrained, there's no chance they have to just get up and leave. you know? And it's the same thing with shooting. I've always thought about it as like if someone was holding a knife to a 2-year-old's throat and they were fully determined that if I didn't stop them, they would kill this child. They would cut this child's head off. Could I make that shot at 10 yards? At a realistic distance, 7 to
Right.
10 yards. And so that's why I train for what I do. It's not really like I'm not too worried about somebody pulling a gun on me so much as like because to me that's not a hard shot, right? Like if you pull a gun on me at 7 yards, you know, okay, whatever. If you don't surprise me at the window on a traffic stop and I get a chance to get my gun out, I feel a whole lot more comfortable. But it's like, somebody's holding a knife to a 2-year-old's throat. Like, can I make this shot over the shoulder of a 2-year-old? Guarantee that I don't hit the 2-year-old and I stop the bad guy. It's like, well, if I don't feel like I can do that, well, then maybe I should fucking practice.
I get a little bit every couple of years. I teach permit classes here in South Dakota, and every 2 years I got to go to the law enforcement training center in Pierre to go recertify. And years ago, like I have really no law enforcement training at all outside of these use of force classes. They used to run us through their simulator, and one thing I'll say, like from a you know regular guy, non law enforcement person, one thing I learned right away, like, yeah, I'm a pretty good shooter. I'm 0.0022% away from M class right now. Um, I would make mistakes though when we did the simulators because of I'm just a USPSA shooter. I've just taught myself to look at a thing, draw, and shoot it. Well, when that guy drew a knife out, I drew my gun and I shot his knife. You know, I never
Yeah.
like where your eyes have to shift to after you see, oh, bad guy doing bad guy things. You like it is more complicated than us, non law enforcement dudes think it is. And I got a little taste of that. And I'm like, I did it twice in like 5 runs on the simulator. I'm like, why'd I shoot the guy's gun? And everybody's like,
Yeah.
it's what you were looking at, you
Yep.
know. So there's definitely, all you non-cop shooter guys, there's more complicated stuff than you realize going on there for sure.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And, Jeff being a Muay Thai guy, he can tell you, it's like even fighting, you're doing the same thing. With a
Yep.
gun, you are just fighting. It's just the tool is the gun instead of your hands. When Jeff's out here doing Muay Thai and somebody throws a jab, he doesn't punch him in the hand.
Right. But
It's like he is.
it's very common
It,
for people to look at, oh, I'm going to kick him in the leg. I need to stare at that leg.
yeah, yeah. And it's like that's what we call in fighting telegraphing.
Yep.
If Jeff stares down at my leg, well, I'm going to pick my leg up because I'm going to try to check this kick that's about to come because he's stared at my leg for 3.5 seconds now. So clearly, that's where he's going to attack. It's one of those things where if you approach it as fighting, there's an overlap. I'm not one of these guys, and I think it's absolutely stupid to say like, oh, USPSA get you killed in the streets and all that. Like I've died in the streets like 10 times. I'm good. It's fine. It doesn't even hurt that bad. But you get into it and people they want to think, especially the tactical shooters, they want to think there's a decision they can make, a place to stand, so to speak, or cover to grab or whatever that can protect them from their lack of skill. But at the same time, we have the opposite end of the coin where maybe a national level grandmaster can't just strictly rely on skill. There's an overlap there. There's an overlap where, and I think honestly, it's easier to take the grandmaster and teach him to make good decisions than it is to take the person who may or may not make good decisions but has no skill. I think that's kind of what we're kind of dealing with. And instead of being in polarizing camps, we should just look at it and say, well, hey, maybe that's the thing we need to learn from each other. The the USPSA guy maybe needs to learn, like, hey, when I see the knife or I see the weapon, it's time to shift my eyes to where I want the bullets to go.
Right.
And then after that, it becomes a skill thing. Like, how fast can you get the bullets there? Well,
Yeah.
cool. If you're a USPSA guy, you're probably getting them there pretty quick. Where if you're a cop and you say, okay, well, I see the guy drawing the knife, I shift my eyes to his upper chest, but now it takes me 3 seconds to draw and fire one round. Well, that's not acceptable either.
Mm-hmm. No.
So there's a middle ground there where I think we can all work from.
So
Right.
back to your match. The 2025 Southeast Law Enforcement Handgun Classic. It's going to be on May 31st, 2025. Is registration open yet?
Not yet. We are trying to get registration open by February 1.
Okay.
We've got some excellent sponsors. Vortex has already sponsored us already, and they are sending, God, way more than we could have ever asked for. We've got Boaz Ammunition on board. I think another ammunition company is coming on board, and we're getting sponsors in. I'm going to try to approach Smith and Wesson. If any of you have a Smith and Wesson contact out there, and you think they would like to do it, feel free to find me and get that there, because I would be happy for a, SIG Glock. We're wanting to offer it to Smith because they're basically in our backyard.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be
Yeah,
here.
because they
It's
just
going to
moved.
be, yeah, they just moved down here to East Tennessee. This is going to occur in East Tennessee. I'd like to give Smith and Wesson opportunity if it's something they're interested in. If not, then we can approach, Glock, Sig Sauer, anybody like that. That's just kind of the idea. We just figured, what I'm saying. You're running a match, and you think, well, who would this benefit the most? Well, here's a company that wants to sell to law enforcement that's in East Tennessee. We're in East Tennessee. This makes sense. So we kind of wanted to do that. Any sponsors out there? We are, like I said, we're looking for sponsors to finish this thing out. We're trying to finish up. We've got a few stage sponsors already. Got a few more stages to kind of break it down. We're not looking. This is not going to be a match that if you're a master or grandmaster level shooter that you're going to find difficult. That's not the spirit of the match. The spirit of the match is to try to get cops into this. So it's going to be a lot of medium field courses, nothing crazy. I want a Texas Star in it. I want a couple of easy swingers. Basically, I just want to kind of get cops hooked into this, but I would also like civilian shooters who are masters and grandmasters to show up to show what's possible. So if a cop comes out there, he shoots at what he feels is pretty good. Well, I want him to see one of the USPSA guys beat him by 5 seconds and be like, wow, okay, that's what's possible, because I think dangling that carrot out there is good for them also. We're going to have great trophies. I'm not one to scrimp on the trophies. So, what I'm looking at now is there's going to be 4 total divisions. First place in every division gets a wrestling heavyweight championship belt.
Yes. Yes. As
Yes,
it should be.
dude. Oh, yeah, brother. And then second and
Oh.
third of each division is going to get Super Bowl rings.
Oh, fun.
Oh, that's different. I've seen belts
Absolutely,
before.
dude.
I've never seen like a championship ring before. That's cool. I like that idea.
Absolutely, man. We're even going to have, I'm going to order the biggest trophy I can find, which right now is a 3-foot tall, like silver cup, and it's going to be the law enforcement cup. So anybody, any agency that shows up with 5 shooters or more,
Ooh.
we will take the top 5 from that agency, add their scores together, and that agency will win the law enforcement cup.
Oh, that's perfect, because that's literally what we were talking about with our idea of a law enforcement match was seeing if we could get the agencies themselves to look at it as a dick measuring competition.
Exactly, dude. You gotta get the chiefs involved. You gotta get the higher ups, man. You gotta get them to wanting something.
Right.
And
Right.
nobody wants to watch another agency walk off with that cup. And so I did 5 shooters because, do y'all know Eric Shaw? My
I
buddy
don't
Eric
know.
Shaw. Eric won third in Carry Optics Nationals last year. Like, Eric is a tremendous shooter. He is also a cop, and he works in Nashville,
Okay.
which I'm in Tennessee. So Eric's going to come over here. He's going to help us with the stages. He's also going to shoot it. But I didn't want dudes like Eric to just be able to carry a whole team.
Right.
And y'all may know Les Kismartoni. I don't know, being in the Midwest and different area than Area 6. My buddy Les Pepperoni, y'all probably follow him on Instagram.
Yep.
They know who he is.
Now I know who you're
Les,
talking about.
yeah, Les Pepperoni. He's an officer now, and so I knew I was going to have some solid friends that were GMs, like national level guys, come in, and they were going to shoot it with us. And so I just didn't want anybody to kind of just walk off with it, you know what I'm saying, or be able to carry a team. Like, they can get their individual awards. I'm more than happy to, put the old heavyweight championship belt around their waist. But the law enforcement cup, I wanted it to encompass more of, hey, what can your agency do? Not just like, hey, what can this one guy, what can the Babe Ruth at your department do? Like, no,
Right.
what can 5 of your guys step up and do? And so I think that that'll kind of maybe draw some more agency level buy-in as opposed to just the individuals.
Yep. How are you guys going to staff it? Because it is a level 2, correct?
Right now, it's not a USPSA match.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. We're not an official USPSA match this year. The money is going to go to a law enforcement charity in this region,
Okay.
so that we make no money. We're giving it to a foundation, and what they do is basically any officer and even a fireman or any first responder that, I think it's regional, maybe it might just be the city, but I believe it might be regional. Any officer that's like injured, so like let's say a fireman falls off a ladder or gets burned, or a police officer gets shot or gets into a wreck, this foundation, what they can do is come in and maybe pay the officer's mortgage for a couple of months
Oh,
or
cool.
something
Right
like
on.
that, to try to help them until they get back up and running, back on their feet, and things like that. Plus, we're not trying to make any money off of it to begin with. So, how matches are. Like, you have to charge a registration fee, and you have to do this or that. And it's like, well, there's going to be some money somewhere. So we had to find a good, worthy charity to put it. Like,
Yep.
here's what's left after we're done with the match.
Yep.
So hopefully next year, and the fact that this is kind of an intro year, just introducing people to it, we didn't necessarily want to approach USPSA because it's not going to be USPSA worthy, I guess you could say. It's going to be a bunch of medium field courses. It's going to be a bunch of just sort of easier stuff to
Yeah.
get people hooked. And then next year, looking at maybe making it a level 2 match, talking with the USPSA and figuring out what we have to do there so that we can draw in even more shooters. Next year, ideally, I would like for us to have to run it in 2 days.
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah, we're gonna do staff reset. So
Oh, nice.
easy.
Oh yeah, you're from that
easy.
part of the country. That's right.
Yeah, dude. We're gonna do it easy peasy, so that, like, no excuses. You show
Yeah.
up and all you gotta do is shoot a stage. You don't have to face the target.
Yep. Get
Plus
the cops
having-
trained and not reset. That's the way to do it. Good job, Andrew. That's never a problem at your club, is it, Jeff?
No, our cop squad isn't the last one to finish literally every time, not once ever.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like,
that's-
so
that's partially
we
a
wanted to
British
make it
man's
easy. We wanted to make it easy so that next year when they have to reset, they'll at least know how to do it and not pace the target ahead of everybody. But
Well, I
Yeah,
guess
that
there's
would
that.
get
Yeah.
annoying.
If you have I didn't think of it from that aspect. If you have a bunch of people who've never shot matches before, that would be a nightmare of reshoots for pre-pasted targets. I did not think of that.
yeah, exactly. We don't want to have 37 resets. The whole goal
Yeah.
of this match is just like selling crack. Give them the first hit for free, then the rest they got to pay for. So it's like, get them hooked, and then come back next year.
If you guys need a rule book, I'm just going to throw out the Hit Factor rule book. It does have a optics 15 and a irons 15, so you can just put your 2 categories in there, so because it's not USPSA. Just throwing that out there.
Oh yeah.
But that's super cool. So the ROs are going to be embedded with the squad and basically run the whole time. Or no, sorry, the ROs will be on the stages.
Yeah, we've got
Okay.
a couple of a local Boy Scout and Girl Scout troop. Basically, an officer I work with, him and his wife, he runs a little Boy Scout troop that's like 8 Boy Scouts, and his wife runs one that's like 6 or 8 Girl Scouts. We're gonna bring them out there, let the kids help, pace the targets and see what, shooting competition's all about. I'm trying to make an event out of it, not just a match where you want to shoot and leave,
Yeah.
but we're not doing a lunch. We're doing a dinner afterwards during the award
Nice.
ceremony
Oh.
where we're going to give out the trophy part of it. The prize table, unfortunately, we're probably going to have to do a lot of that random draws just so we can get it done throughout the day
I
so
think
that
it's the
we can
best way to
focus.
do it anyway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It will garner more support than a bunch of newbies showing up and being like, "Oh, those 5 assholes took every prize." Like that sucks.
Yeah, so it's like if somebody wants to sponsor and say, "Hey, if some gun company says, I want, I'm going to give you 4 guns and they need to go to the division winners." Well, I'm going to try to accommodate them.
Well, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, we're going to have a bunch of shit to give people. So we're going to have to try to random draw it throughout the day and get it out to the shooters so that we can have the whole dinner and award ceremony thing. Because I mean, I want the only way to change law enforcement, man, is not with individuals. Because again, I work for an agency. When we're full staffed, we're about 420 shooters, and I know of maybe 6 guys that shoot USPSA.
Right.
And so the goal is to make it an event where command staff can come out there, where our chiefs of police can come out there with the county sheriff and um, UTPD's chief and all these other chiefs, maybe Maryville over where Smith and Wesson is, and all of that, and they can all talk shit to each other. I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
they can all talk a bunch of shit, and make this a whole like event, a fun thing. Maybe these chiefs talk a little smack with each other,
Have a betting pool in the
and
back.
exactly, man. We come back next year and we do it all again. And maybe next year it's gotten a lot bigger and we have to do it over 2 days now. And kind of a Dragons Cup kind of thing. I'm not sure if Dragons Cup was ever a USPSA event, but it
Yep.
was a very big event.
Yep. I went a couple years ago, and it's like you said, it's an event, and it's a well done match. And the dinner afterwards was like, I thought I enjoyed it very much because it was a way to be able to bullshit with guys that weren't in your squad or like buddies that were like in a different shooting time than you. So I really like the dinner idea.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna throw out there. I don't know if Andrew, if you're aware, a guy I know out in Utah puts on the Utah Law Enforcement Handgun Championship, and it's basically the size of USPSA Nationals. They'll
Yeah,
have
you talking about Jared?
Jared Stepp. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
aware then.
Jared Stepp, one of the guys on my team for this match, he's spoken to him
Oh,
directly
okay.
about like how to do this thing. Like we tried to ask a bunch of people, like we're really not trying to just be like reinvent the wheel or any of that stuff. We've talked to these guys out where you guys are, it's much bigger. Like USPSA and everything is much bigger, much more prevalent than it is here in the southeast. And so we're
Really?
kind of trying to pick your guys' brains out there and drag it back here and
You
make
mean
it a
as far
thing
as
here.
cops shooting, practical shooting, it's more active, or because I'm pretty sure there's a lot more people in Area 6 shooting USPSA than there is in Area 3.
Oh yeah, I mean more the cop thing
Oh,
because
okay.
out
Yep.
there, Jared's a cop, so my buddy Brian that's on our little team here that's putting this together, he talked to him. I talked to a captain in Phoenix and another guy in Mesa, Arizona. And so we're trying, because also simultaneously while this is going, I'm trying to get a shooting team together for our department. So I've kind of got
You're a
two
busy
different
boy.
things. yeah, two different things along the same path, trying to get these things done and get them hashed out how they're going to work. Plus, you know, I find out this week if I got selected for mounted patrol or not. So I may have a horse because I got I got a lot of shit going on, man.
Yep.
Well, if you
Yeah.
get to bring the horse cock out, you're set, man. You're never gonna have to worry about any of that ever again. So,
Oh, dude. Apparently, we have to shoot off this horse's back if we get the
Mhm.
training, and I'm like,
Uh,
great. I know shit
100%.
about riding horses.
Hell yeah. If you need because are you guys going to do match shirts?
So
Do you
we're
know?
gonna try to do. I know somebody. Like I said, there's a group of about five. I think there's five of us on our little team here that's trying to put this together. One of the guys talked to somebody, and they were gonna try to see if Howitzer Clothing wanted to do something. We wanted to get, at least for staff jerseys, get with Michelle. I believe she's from Area 8, maybe. You guys
No,
probably know her.
no. Michelle Weitzel, MW Activewear.
Yes, we were going to try to
Yeah,
get her to do.
that's one of
Yeah,
Jeff's
she's-
best
Masters.
friends.
Yeah, she's my best friend. Like I have lunch with her every Wednesday, so I'm plugging her, which sounds like you guys already know.
Awesome. Yeah, she did the Area 6 match jerseys, I believe, last
Yeah.
year. And
Oh, dude, wait till you see the Area
we-
3 logo. I'm so happy with it. It's so awesome. It's amazing.
absolutely, man. She does great work. And so as soon as they said, hey, are we going to do match jerseys? I was like, I want you to approach her first because she crushed the Area 6 jerseys last year. And so I'd like for her to do it. You know, tech wear is not a thing anymore. I've got a couple of tech wear jerseys from years gone by, and I love those jerseys, but they're not a thing anymore. She seems to be picking up where they fell off and is doing a great job. So I was like, I want her. If we're going to do jerseys, I would like for her to do them if it's financially feasible. The match, we're going to probably try to do t-shirts maybe because I don't, jerseys are just kind of expensive for people coming in.
You get enough, they're not as bad as you think. I'm just without throwing numbers out for Michelle, I'll let her do that, but it's not as bad as you think.
Michelle's let's just put it this way. Me and her husband are constantly trying to convince her to increase her price because she's so reasonable that we're like, you can be a little less reasonable.
Shut up, Jeff. Shut up. Stop talking to her about that. Okay, I got 2 matches I got to worry about here. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Go ahead.
The tech wear jerseys that I paid for a couple of years ago, and that when I was with MBX, I shot with them and had to buy them, and I'm like, Jesus, this is
like
way too
$90.
much. Oh, dude, they were over 100.
Oh God.
Yep.
And then Michelle came out and was like, I can do these things for like $60. I heard her on a podcast. I believe it was,
and that's if
Joe
you order
Park's
like
podcast.
2. Like if you order the bare minimum, you order more, it gets a lot cheaper, a lot faster.
Yep.
Yeah, she was like $60, $50, $60. I forget exactly what it was. I'm like, holy shit, that is cheap. Like, it's like, can I get 5 or 6 of them? And it's like now doing this match, it's like, yeah, I'm going to need like 20 something jerseys. I just got to get, all the sponsorship stuff out
I
of
think the
way
number you want to
so we
shoot
know
for
what
is
to put on
30.
there.
You want to shoot for 30. I'm just going to say that. I'll just
the
say
old
shoot
30
for
wink.
30.
Wink, wink, nod, nod.
30's the number you want to get to, Andrew. I'm just saying.
We can definitely accommodate 30. It's just going to be getting the sponsors and figuring out whose logo goes on them. And like I said, I think it's going to be a great time. We're trying to approach this from not just like, hey, this is a match, but more like, hey, this is an event. Come show up, have a good time, get you something to eat. There's going to be some badass trophies. Where else can you go? There's not.
Oh, you got to finger the phone. Do you have the messenger up, Jeff?
I'm opening it right now.
He made it 71 minutes without forgetting to finger. He did awesome. This is what happens when we clean feed on a phone browser. You have to keep the screen alive, or maybe his phone died. That would be bad. Oh, I hope he didn't lose it. Finger the phone. Come on, Andrew. Finger the phone. Well, if we don't get him back, I'd say we got it about nailed.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I figured we were getting pretty close to the
We're
end.
still connected, so his phone didn't die. He's just got to I think he's still talking and hasn't realized we can't hear him. Oh, Andrew?
I'm back. I'm back. I'm
Yeah.
back. I'm back.
Okay.
You fingered the phone?
Yeah, I fingered the phone again.
We were just thinking White
Shut
Stripes
off.
while you were gone. It's fine.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not. Again, I'm a technology retard. But no, what I was saying before I forgot to become a victim to technology was, the shooting community has been great. All these businesses and all the people just from traveling around, and I don't travel too far for matches, just around Area 6, just traveling around with folks. And dude, the businesses and people have been great. I cannot tell you the number of messages we've had on Instagram and everywhere else where like people are like, I want to be a part of this, whether it's just, shooters that just want to come up and help work it, or whether it's businesses that are like, hey, let me know when you get your sponsorship packages together. I mean, I really can't express how thankful and how amazing it is that the shooting community has done this. Like, they are making it super easy for us.
Yeah, it's super cool. My club did for a number of years. There was a guy who was a DCI agent here. He was a board member at my club. Was a 3-gun shooter. We did a cops and robbers 3-gun match where it was the very first year they did it was cops only, but there was not a lot of people there. And then they opened it up to everybody, and it was cops and robbers. So the cops had to shoot duty gear, and the robbers division was literally anything goes. So dudes had Glocks with like 48 round PCC mags in them, like literally it was like open, like literally anything goes. So you would see a little bit of wild stuff from the robbers, and then the cops were shooting cops, and it did great. He did a great job of getting a prize table together. He just got burnt out on it, and this was the first year we did not have it, because without him it just kind of lost its steam, because he was the guy recruiting all the cops to come shoot it too. So but it's a great concept to do anywhere in the country. I think if there's a cop out there who's big into practical shooting of any form, they should do it. Absolutely.
What before we finish, because we're getting kind of to the end of it, we almost forgot about something. Your shooting Bible quotes.
Oh yeah.
Shit.
We I didn't realize. Jeff told me after he booked the interview that he's the dude with the Gunnesis Bible verses. I'm like, oh,
Gunrinthian. I like that one.
Yes.
Oh my God, dude. That all started with me drinking a couple of too many beers and my natural sarcastic nature sitting in my garage. I was just like, I was sitting there and I was just like, something had chapped my ass that day about slowing down and getting your hits or pinning your trigger to the rear. So I just made this shit up. Like, I just made it up. I put it in there. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna like King James version. This. Because we have stupid quotes in law enforcement. The whole accuracy is or speed is fine and accuracy is final, and slow down and get your hits, and slow is smooth and smooth is fast. So just smart ass having a couple of beers in me, I made up something like King James version style, made up some chapter out of some fake shooting.
I've got one in front of me, Andrew, and I'm going to give a dramatic reading of it for everyone here, okay? A former professional talker. I think I can do this. Waste not the time pretending paper targets are evildoers, for the tactical daydreams doth not train mindset. Tactilonians.
Yes.
Book 3, chapter 2.
Yes.
Or verse 2. Shit, I screwed up the end. But anyway. Hey, it's perfect. A new bit. Like, we're just going to do Andrew's shit on our show. I'll do a dramatic reading of his Bible verses. We got a new bit. Thank you, Andrew.
That would be perfect. Please do that. Open every show with one in your dramatic voice, because you got that radio voice. So, put it on there. Right. And it was just like,
we'll do it right after the dumbass that shoots themselves. That's what we lead every show with. Some idiot that they're still alive, but they shot themselves is sort of become our opening bit.
His rules, they have to still be alive. I said that we should find a cop that shot themselves, preferably in a foreign country, because those ones are always hilarious.
Oh yeah. One of my favorite ones was like something about, God, like the whole notes app on my phone is full of them because I'll just be sitting around and something will hit me and I'll type it in to my notes app. And then sometimes I'll have to go back and refine it a couple more times before I post it. But one of my favorite ones was it was basically a shot at Hackathorn and Paul Howe on the Wilson Combat channel where they
Oh
were talking
yeah,
about they're
fucking
talking
Paul
about
Howe is
basically
amazing.
yeah, well, they were talking about, basically like red dots are bullshit and all this, and it was just like, these old guys that don't like red dots scream at the sky or something like that, dude. I put that in there. I
You
was just
have
like, fuck
so
it.
many. I mean,
Post it.
we can do these forever as long as you keep kicking them out. Like we're already set for the next year. As many of these as you've done. My God, there's so many of
Oh,
them.
yeah.
There's a ton. That's
There's
so fun.
Yeah, man, it was just like I said, it was one of those like my naturally sarcastic nature combined with about 3 beers, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
I'm tired of hearing this stupid shit in the shooting community.
yeah.
I'm gonna make fun of it in my own way.
Content creation's always better with alcohol. I'm on my second bourbon right now, so
I'm
it's always the way to do it.
we always drink on the show. I
Yeah.
will say to end this, very good luck with your match. Be prepared for it to not go as you plan, but
Yeah,
and
you're gonna learn a
we-
ton this year. The first go
Right.
around. Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
And we would love to have you on afterwards for like a debrief of what went well, what was a disaster, any funny stories of the all the dumb shit that can happen in a match.
yeah. Don't delete your
Oh,
registration
absolutely.
the day of the match.
Yeah.
I did that. Second
Ugh.
year of Great Plains section, I deleted registration. Luckily, I had already downloaded to my phone, so it was not the catastrophe I thought it was. But
Luckily, I have nothing to do with that part of practice score. I've got someone who actually knows what they're doing going to do that. And so, like I said, man, yeah, the shooting community has been great. The guy that's going to be the match director because of the club we're going to run it through, he has to be the match director, kind of
Sure.
like a liaison kind of thing.
Mhm.
Yep.
And then I'll kind of be the range master because I'm trying to get it to go off without too big of a hitch. So running supplies and taking care of everything and having the freedom to make sure that everything in the clubhouse is going when it needs to go so that people are finishing up shooting it, so everybody's not sitting around. And then all the guys that are working with me on my buddy Cody, who's doing the social media stuff, my buddy Brian and Matt, who are doing the sponsorship stuff. Like this thing is going to be a huge team effort. I'm kind of I'm sort of the lead on it just because like I'm the idiot who came up with this idea and didn't really realize what I was getting myself into. So
Kind of sounds like a guy who
but
ended
lo-
up the Area 3 director, doesn't it, Jeff? That's what it kind of
Yep.
sounds like
Yeah.
to me.
Yep.
Yeah,
I guess someone's got to do it.
yeah.
once we put that thing out, man, once we put that thing out on Facebook, or not Facebook, Cody did the Instagram post and the Facebook post or whatever, like he was getting DMs galore of people want to be a part of it. And so I was kind of like, we had to like have a meeting, we all got on a group text, we're like, bro, we need to meet about this on Wednesday. Like bring pens and paper.
We have lightning and there's a bottle over here. Let's get this going. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, we have grabbed a tiger by the tail. Something we thought was going to be like 100 shooters is probably, we're going to have to cap it at 130 and then probably have about, have a staff day. So we're probably looking this year at 150 shooters total, just because that's all we can manage. Not because we don't want to let more shoot it if it caps out,
Yeah.
but
Don't
we
go
can't manage it.
don't go too big the first time. It happens all the time. You're like, oh man, this is going great. Let's keep adding people and adding people.
Yes.
And you're like, nope,
Yeah.
nope. You cut it
More
off.
is a
And-
complication.
Yep. And
Yeah.
like you're already doing, please ask questions. I am a local match director. Andy has been a level 2 match director. Like Michelle Weitzel's husband has been the match director. Ask every match director you can about all the weird shit because Nationals had 4 porta potties. Someone
Yeah.
didn't ask about porta potties.
Yeah. No, it's an experience, but best of luck for you. Andrew Keith The Southeast Law Enforcement Handgun Classic, May 31st in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. I can't wait to hear how it goes. I would love to be able to go, but I don't have enough vacation to go to it. But there's people closer who they should go to it. I would love to have you back on, like Jeff mentioned, afterwards, hear how it went and do a debrief. It was really nice meeting you here virtually, Andrew. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. I'll let you know how it went, good, bad, or indifferent.